Hey guys, Lori here. I'm back to do my next what I've been loving recently. So this one is going to be about 2 months. It's going to be the month of October and the month of November. And I'm just gonna kind of go over what I've been watching, what I've been doing, what has been captivating my attention. It was a little bit of a weird 2 months. It was a weird with everything electiony. It just got a little bit weird. But I did wind up watching and enjoying a lot of stuff, and I did find a way to like mentally escape. So let's get into the movies that I watched. The first movie I watched was Enola Holmes, which starred Millie Bobby Brown on Netflix. I loved it. I actually read the book quite a bit ago. I think I read it like a year and a half ago. And I like the book. Thought it was great. I really liked the movie though. I thought the movie was really interesting. I like the interpretation. Really hope we get a sequel. I don't recall the plot being in the book, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't like very similar. But I really liked it. I love Millie Bobby Brown as an actress, so that was definitely a highlight for me. And I'm really happy that I wound up actually watching that when I did, because I normally like put off Netflix movies like To All the Boys I Loved Before. I still haven't watched that one, so I normally put them off, but I watched this one that the week that it came out, and I was so happy. So that's the first movie that I watched. The second movie I watched has a really, really obscure title, so I have to look it up. It's called The Secret Society of Second Born Royals on Disney Plus. It might have been like on Disney, but I just saw it on Disney Plus and I like watched it over like 2 nights, and it is just an adorable movie. It stars Andy Mack and a couple of other people, and you follow the second children in these royal born families, and they are found to have powers that are basically save the lead person in their family if anything happens. It was a really, really cute movie, and it kind of gave me Disney Descendants vibes, and I really love those movies, so I really wound up liking that one. And it was just cute. The title is a little bit obscure, but the casting and the acting was superb, so I would highly recommend it. Um, and then I fell down the Julie and the Phantoms train. So we'll kind of go into TV shows. I adore Julie and the Phantoms. Like, I think I watched this series like 2 to 3 times. I love it. For those that don't know, this is a Netflix show. It is directed by the amazing Kenny Ortega, and it follows this girl named Julie, and she is living with her dad and her uncle, and she winds up in summoning these ghosts back from the dead, and these ghosts are a band that died on their opening night when they were going to like have a big break and go on into the world. They died, so their souls come back, their ghosts come back, and the only way people can hear and see them is when they play with Julie. So they start a band. It is an adorable show. I felt head over heels with the soundtrack. I think I've listened to the soundtrack so much. My soundtrack listening has like beaten my Silver Landings soundtrack by Mandy Moore. But oh my god, this show is just adorable. It is so sweet. I love drama comedy shows that like tug at your heartstrings. This one definitely does that. It's just so adorable. I love the actors. I love that they're actually like a real band. I've been watching some of like behind the scenes documentaries that they've been putting out on Netflix, and they've just been adorable. So that is definitely something that's really captured my heart. I really hope they come back for a second season, hopefully soon. But yeah, that was definitely one that I was like, oh my god, I fell for it. I watched it like 2 to 3 times. Really, really love the music, and it was one that I definitely really, really enjoyed. Julie and the Phantoms for the win. If you've not checked it out, I highly recommend it. I also did start watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which I still have to finish. I got a little bit distracted. But I watched a couple of more episodes of it, and I still really like it. I just kind of got a little bit distracted. I will go back and I will finish it, hopefully before the end of the year. That's my goal. And I also did finish watching Home Edit, which is like a behind the scenes like um home decorating or home designing show, and I was Christmas crafting, and it was really nice just to have like as a background to just kind of watch it. So that's what I watched. I watched like all the episodes in that, and again, found it to be super cute, really, really great for my organizing when I was Christmas crafting, because I didn't have to focus on a lot of things. But yeah, those are the TV shows that I finished. So I didn't finish a lot of TV shows. in the last couple of months, but I have started a couple, and I'll get into those in November when I get there. I talked about music. The only thing I've been listening to is Julie and the Phantoms. Like, the only thing I've been listening to is that when I have a little bit of time. But again, I love that soundtrack. So I would definitely recommend you check out Julie and the Phantoms. Definitely my favorite show as of yet. And then the shows that I started and binged was Macgyver. This was a show that I had stopped watching when I was putting up my production of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and I just binged the last season and a half of it. It's actually coming back December 5th. I actually loved the last season, and I'm so upset that it took me so long to finally like watch it. But again, it's a show that I'm really captivated by, and I did actually finish that, so I would say that when I caught up, but I did binge. Avatar I'm still watching, Sabrina I'm still watching, and I'm still watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I'm, again, trying to catch up on as well. But they're really, really good shows, so I really hope that hopefully, if not in 2020, then 2021, I'll be able to finish those soon and quickly. But definitely right now, my favorite show is definitely Julie and the Phantoms, and I really enjoyed my rewatch of Macgyver, and Sabrina has been a pleasant surprise as well. And then I had like a mini Halloween movie weekend where I watched like all of my favorite movies. So I watched Hocus Pocus, which everyone loves a good Hocus Pocus, and I watched all 4 Halloween Towns, which I didn't even know that there was 4 Halloween Towns. Definitely prefer the first 4, the first 3 of them, which stars the original actress, but I did like the 4th one. But I just spent a whole weekend and I kind of watched all those movies as well. But again, that was like my Halloween weekend, and I really like them. It's been a while, and I'm just so grateful for Disney Plus to just kind of have that. I also remember in that weekend I did watch Cloud 9, which was one of my favorite DComs, starring oh my god, Dove Cameron. I really really like that one as well. So I wound up binge watching that. And then there was a couple of TV shows that started. Due to all the quarantine stuff, there's been so few shows coming back. But The Good Doctor did start, and This Is Us did start, and I did watch the first. I think I watched the first episode of This Is Us. And I watched the first episode or the first 2 episodes of Good Doctor, and they both did deal with the coronavirus pandemic and they did it in very, very different ways, but I really enjoyed it, and it was like heartbreaking for both of them just to kind of see their world through what the COVID crisis was. It's definitely a harder watch, I will say that, but super captivating, super interesting, and I definitely have to catch up on those shows. I think I'm like 1 episode behind on This Is Us and 2 episodes behind on The Good Doctor, so I will have to make that a priority. And then I also did do some Christmas movies. I'm gonna watch a lot more Christmas movies in December, but I did watch the Disney Snowman one from Frozen, the Frozen Once Upon a Snowman. It was like 12 minutes, and I just like Olaf. So I wound up watching that, which I was really happy with. And I also watched the 2 Elements of Prep and Landing, which was like a 30-minute show about the elves of Santa Claus and how they get into trouble and how they get up into mischief. But that again was something that I really, really wound up liking. So those were some Christmas movies I watched. And I did start watching The Mandalorian when it came out. I think at this point I'm like 1 episode behind, but I'm really liking The Mandalorian. Baby Yoda is present and accounted for. He's right there. Oh, let's see. I'll move my head. He's right there. But yeah, so those are all like the shows that I watched, like the fiction shows. But I will admit, for November, the first 3 weeks of November, it was really a lot of watching the news. I'll be honest. It was very much me watching the news to find out about the election and also to find out about the COVID pandemic. I started November teaching in a building, and then we did not last in a building super long, so now we're teaching at home. But also, I will be honest, I think everyone was captivated by the election. I was as well, and it made me so incredibly distracted the month of November. And now I'm just more distracted because of the COVID. So, I mean, it's been a little bit of like a weird month, but I've been trying to like force myself to like relax and just kind of like take a step back. But I also did watch some nonfiction shows that I kind of wanted to give a shout out to. I finished watching Slender Man, which was a documentary on HBO Max. It's about a girl who they wound up almost killing their best friend. I know it sounds like very, very bad. But they were like convinced that they were like being controlled by this person named Slenderman. It was a really interesting documentary. It's just called Slenderman. It's on HBO Max. It was like an hour. It was super interesting and super compelling. And I also, going along with the true crime stuff, I also watched Seduced, which was a documentary following a person inside the Nexium cult, India Oxenberg. That was on Stars. I got like a free trial and I watched all like four episodes. Very, very interesting. I do want to get her book when it comes out in the end of October or November, I think she said. So I do definitely want to get that because I read her mom's book early in 2020 and it was really, really interesting. But then I also did watch The Vow, which follows more people in the Nexium cult, and that was really interesting. So those were like all of my nonfiction watches that I did tackle. But I also did this month read quite a few political books that I just wanted to quickly mention in this video. I did finish finish listening to Michelle Obama's biopic. Oh my god, that's not what it's called. Memoir, Becoming by Michelle Obama. I finished reading that and it was so interesting and so compelling. And then I also finished reading Rage and Fear by Bob Woodward, which was about the Trump presidency, which again, I found to be super interesting. Definitely not what I was expecting to read in that, but it was again a very, very interesting read. So I've been trying to have a balance between more nonfiction reads and sorry, my computer froze. I've been trying to have a balance between fiction and nonfiction reads, and I've been trying to listen to quite a few more nonfiction reads just so I actually like retain more information, because I just put on old YouTube videos and I just think it's a little bit of a time suck for me. But yeah, so that's basically all the stuff that I wound up watching or experiencing or doing in the month of October and November. I did try to watch a bit more creepy. I'm still playing Animal Crossing. Definitely not as much as I was during when I was home all the time. I'm home again, but it's just a little bit different, like work-wise. I would say right now when COVID first hit in March, we taught so differently. So again, I have less time to do things when I'm home, but I feel like the kids are getting the kids are understanding stuff a little bit more, so I'm actually happy about that. But yeah, so I definitely say the highlights for me out of movies was definitely Enola Holmes. I really, really like that. I think the best TV show I watched, bar none, was Julie and the Phantoms. My favorite series that I like binge watch from the past was probably Macgyver. I really like season 4 of Macgyver. I thought it went in like a very like interesting direction, and I was really happy with that. I think my favorite Halloween movie will probably always be the first the first Halloween Town. I have such fond memories of that. And my favorite new show that I watched, like a new season that came back, I don't know. I haven't watched any more of them, but I would probably say The Good Doctor has always captured me a little bit more. But I love This Is Us too. So, and my favorite like documentary I would probably say was probably Seduced, the one that had India Oxenberg in it, because her take was really interesting. But yeah, so I'm definitely going to come back with another one about what I watched and what I did in the month of December, and I'll check in with you guys. But I hope you guys like this video. Let me know what are some of the things that you have been loving in the comments, and I will talk to you guys later for another video. Bye, guys.